start the show with news flow straight from the US. Then in a recent interview, in fact, with the news network, US President Donald Trump has said that he is very angry and pissed off with Russian President Putin for questioning the legitimacy of the Ukrainian administration under Zelensky. Additionally, in fact, Trump also acknowledged that Putin is in fact aware of his anger, but also noted that they have a very good relationship and that the anger dissipates quickly if he does the right thing. In fact, Trump has also disclosed that both the leaders are set to speak in the coming week. Based on how the conversation goes, the US president has threatened to levy 25 or 50% tariff on Russian oil. Remember that Putin on Friday also called for a transitional government to be put in place in Ukraine, which could effectively push out Zelensky. So not just that, Trump has in fact recently announced secondary tariffs when it comes to Venezuela. Now, important to note here that India and China are effectively the only major buyers of Russian oil. So their reaction becomes as important as Putin's response to Trump's latest shift. In fact, the question is whether Trump's threat is credible at this point, likely to come into fruition as well, which is the assessment that Russia, China and India must be making.
Correct. Moving on, keeping with Trump's actions, over the weekend, Trump also threatened Iran with bombing and secondary tariffs if Tehran did not come to an agreement with Washington over its nuclear program. Trump, in fact, said that if Iran fails to come up with the deal, they should be ready for bombing, the likes of which they have never seen before. Meanwhile, Iran's Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has firmly responded to the threat, saying US should be ready for a strong blow after any said attack. Additionally, Iran has complained to United Nations Security Council about the reckless and belligerent remarks made by US President. Now, they've gone ahead to describe the comments as a flagrant violation of international law.
And moving on, meanwhile, you do have some fillip to sentiment that may be seen on the back of comments coming in from the IMF chief, Kristalina Georgieva, who has in fact said that Trump's tariffs is creating greater uncertainty, denting confidence as well, but may not trigger a near-term recession. In fact, she also underscored the challenges facing a global economy that is still posting underwhelming growth after scarring from the COVID pandemic, but cautioned against being overly alarmed.
Correct. Now, keeping it with the expectations around US recession, Goldman Sachs has raised the probability of a recession to 35% from 20% earlier and said that it expects more rate cuts from the Federal Reserve. The brokerage has also lowered the world's largest economy's GDP growth forecast for 2025 to 1.5% from 2% earlier and projected 3 interest rate cuts, each from the US Fed and the European Central Bank from its previous expectation of 2 each.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.